You know what's amazing? All of these games are on the cartridge. All of these Switch 1 games are on the cartridge. Ghost Song, Crash, Deadly Premonition, Star Wars Pinball, and I've got a lot more where this came from. Hey everyone, I'm Clayton Morris. I just wanted to talk today about how the Switch 2, in many ways, is making the Switch 1 the greatest console of all time. I know, it's a bold statement, but I've been thinking a lot about this over the past few weeks. And as I take walks, I've been thinking more and more about how angry I've gotten at the keycard situation on the Switch 2 and what a disaster the digital future is, of course, for games. When you buy a PS5 game, the game is pretty much not even on the disc anymore. It's just a license code to download these games. And of course, the same is true of these Switch 2 keycard situation, right? Or you're just getting a code in the box, which is like the worst thing ever. But then I was sitting there looking at my Switch library, which I've got a big Switch library. Oh my God. One of my favorite games of all time. Oh, absolutely love it. You know, all of these games, a full, massive Xenoblade is on this cartridge. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, the full thing right here on the cartridge. Wavetail right here on the cartridge. Strange Brigade, a game I haven't gotten to yet, but on the cartridge, and the list goes on and on. And sure, yes, there are a few codes in the box for the Switch 1, but I've avoided those at all costs. Although my kids did get me the Spyro collection for Christmas, and they didn't know better. You know, they didn't read the thing on the bottom. But anyway, you know, then the other game, there's like one game on the cartridge, and you have to download the other few games. So there's a few situations like that for the Switch 1. But I've been thinking a lot about the Switch 2, and I really think that the Switch 2 in many ways has made the Switch 1, or will make the Switch 1, the ultimate collecting console of all time. To me, the Switch 1 is my favorite console of all time. It's the console that really got me back into gaming again. And I love the NES back in the day. And yes, the Sega Genesis, absolutely love those systems, of course. But when I sit down and think about the library of games, the incredible library of JRPGs that exists now on the Nintendo Switch, the tens of thousands of games that are available on the Nintendo Switch. I mean, imagine trying to actually collect that entire collection. It'd be like impossible. I don't know how you would do it. It's so massive, nearly impossible, right? But there's so many great games that are on the Nintendo Switch 1 that now you can play on the Nintendo Switch 2. And because of the keycard situation and the digital download future, I think the Switch 2 is now really shining a light on the power and the beauty of collecting for the Switch 1. So I've been thinking a lot about, well, maybe I won't really even buy a lot of Switch 2 games. Maybe I'll just continue to collect for the Switch 1. And many of these games will now have free download or free upgrade paths, just like the PS4 and the PS5. So you buy the PS4 game on disc, and you get a free PS5 version of the game, and I don't have to do anything. I just bought the PS4 version of a particular game, and now, you know, Sony's just giving me an upgraded version right through the internet, and I don't have to worry about it. It's going to add on all of the extra DLC. It's going to do all of its little bells and whistles and make it a better experience. It's going to upscale it and make it look even better. Great. And you're starting to already see that with the Switch 2. So why would I buy these digital keycard versions of Switch 2 games when I could buy the physical, full, complete physical version of the Switch 1 game and then get this free upgrade path on the Switch 2? It's a crazy thought. It's a crazy thought to think that maybe I won't really buy very many Switch 2 games at all. You know, why would I buy a new key card or a new cartridge for Tears of the Kingdom? Because I've already got Tears of the Kingdom and I can get the upgrade right through the Switch 2. I don't need to buy the whole physical version of that game again. You know, I thought initially like, yeah, I'm going to buy, definitely would want to buy Tears of the Kingdom, the new version of that, right, on the Switch 2. I'm going to want to definitely buy Breath of the Wild because it doesn't have the DLC on there. So then why would I do that? Right? So I started really unpacking this a little bit more, thinking about the future of collecting. And then I really started to think that if I look at the console that has, to me, the greatest JRPG collection, has really the greatest library of physical games ever made, I think it's hard to argue. I think it's hard to argue that the Switch One really is the greatest collecting console of all time. And I think it's going to even become more valuable and more important with the Switch 2. It'd be really interesting to me to see how many publishers continue to produce their games for the Switch One and have a complete on-cartridge experience for the Switch One, where I can just buy that cartridge, not buy the Switch 2 version of it, and get some sort of a free download or free upgrade if I want it, but I still can play the complete game right on the Switch 2's hardware with backwards compatibility. Right? There are more options for Switch 2 cartridge sizes than there are for Switch 2. We know right now there's only a 64 gigabyte Switch 2 cartridge size. I'm struggling to think about how, in what scenario I would become like a big Switch 2 collector of physical games. It's going to be hard for me to justify that, given the fact that, first of all, I have a massive library of Switch 1 games that I haven't even played yet. But now I can play them on my Switch 2, and now I'll have that for another 10 years. I'll have this console experience for another 10 years with improved performance, improved graphics, improved battery life, better Joy-Cons. So now my Switch 1 library is extended for another decade or longer, and I can take it in this new hardware for many, many years to come. So I think we're looking at the Switch 1 becoming the greatest console collecting generation we've ever had, because, of course, we can still play it on our Switch 1 if we want, and we can now play it backwards compatible on our Switch 2 if we want, plus with free upgrade paths. And I wonder, actually, it'd be really interesting to look at the data and the numbers to see how many people, continued to buy PS4 games in an era when you had the PS5 and you knew you could get the sort of the free upgrade. I don't think they were that much cheaper. I mean, PS4 games to PS5 games, maybe like what, $10 cheaper? I don't know. Because when I got the PS5, I just went fully PS5. So I don't know. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, because are you going to continue to collect for the Switch 1? And also, I get a question, when you think about how long will we see publishers publishing to Switch 1 cartridges? You've got a massive, massive install base of the Switch 1. And those people aren't going anywhere. And your Switch console is not going to die. It's not like dead suddenly. So will publishers for 2, 3, maybe 4 more years continue to publish their games to Switch 1? And if you think about it, will they publish the full game on cartridge on Switch 1 cartridges and then have basically key cards for Switch 2? I think we're already probably going to see that. Yeah, it's not the same game. It's clearly going to be more performant. It's going to look better on a Switch 2 with the graphics. But if I can get an upgrade path or sort of a cheap or even free upgrade by having the actual physical disc or physical cartridge, and then I'm going to get that upgrade on the Switch 2. I don't know. I think it's exciting. I just been thinking a lot about this, how in many ways, like the Switch 1 is not dead. If anything, to me, the Switch 2 has just made the Switch 1 really the ultimate collecting console of all time. I mean, Jurassic Park collection, good luck getting that full thing on a Switch 2 cartridge unless you're buying it through like limited run or something like that. Happy Game, full game right here on the cartridge. Happy Game. I just got this finally in the mail the other day. Jet Cave Adventure. I bought the digital when that came out a while ago. I was waiting for the physical copy of this, so I finally got that. Celeste, full game right here on the cartridge. Everything. Disgaea 1 Complete, the full complete edition from NIS America right here. The complete game. Tiger Heli. The Topolon Arcade Classic Collection from Limited Run. Now, yes, you're going to have some of these, Nintendo, of course, first party Kirby Star Allies. So, hopefully you'll get full games from Nintendo first party games on there. But what else do we got in here? I know I'm just going on and on about this, but I could talk Little Nightmares 2, the full game on cartridge, the Ori collection, a whole collection here, the Ori games. Yeah, and it includes both games on here. Crash Bandicoot, the full Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time right here. The Neo Geo Pocket Collection, Undernauts, Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3, the Square Enix, the mobile ports. I mean, you see what I'm saying? Am I making sense here? Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Did the Switch 2 just make the Switch 1 the ultimate collecting console? The ultimate console of the best console of all time? It's hard to argue against me. Love to hear your thoughts on that. Now I got to put all these back. We'll see you next time, everyone.